Hey, internets, welcome back to Same-ish Different Day, the podcast where we continue the march into madness. I'm Raza Malik, and I'm joined with my Amazeballs co-host, Bailey Nargang, also featuring the lovely Wine Mom, the arbiter of everything TikTok and YouTube.
Hey, it's Wine Mom.
Bailey here. Gotta drop that reminder that you can find this show on any streaming service you use. Remember to leave a sassy review, and you want to bash us or our opinions generally? Well, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and maybe some other places in the future.
I join these guys weekly to keep their egos in check as we break down complex social issues and talk about why your kids shouldn't be watching family vloggers.
We talk about real-ish on a real level. Ain't got time for the Twitters? Don't worry, we have collectively wasted our existence combing the internet for you.
Also, before these two get carried away, don't be shy. Join our Discord for the inside scoop. You can also support us on Patreon, where you can work your way up our very own class system. And don't worry, it's pay to win.
So, welcome back to another episode of Same Shit, Different Day, where we try not to rip each other's heads off.
Let's get it. What's up, internets?
What's up, internets?
Welcome to Same-ish Different Day, the podcast with a name that keeps getting interrupted. This week, we got a big content warning. First of all, if you're into anything, not into anything, if you have trauma from anything related to SA, manipulation, all of that abuse stuff, be careful. Go to a goofier episode.
Has a Hollywood actor bullied you arbitrarily at a karaoke bar? Well, you have come to the right episode.
Oh gosh. Okay, so this week we wanted to talk about why is Ezra Miller attacking Hawaii. So after going on a tirade in Hawaii, Raza in a second will break down what happened to our flashy boy, and we will talk about the why of this and try to understand why celebrities, such as someone as Ezra Miller, the Flash's caliber, don't understand how this may be affecting not only their personal image or that they think they can get away with this in the digital era. Then we have a fun continuation to tie this into other current events that are going on lately. But first, Raza, I think generally people here will know who Ezra Miller is. If not, Google it. You'll get a lot of results quickly. Can you tell me what was going on with the Hawaii thing? Because I'm not as up to date on that.
So, I only know about because apparently he had a couple of altercations in Hawaii. He just spawned in Hawaii and just went nuts there. But they went to a karaoke bar in Hawaii, and they got drunk and started being abusive towards the people singing. And apparently, Ezra Miller has had this behavior where he's like, sort of, like a, like he gets really hostile very quick. Some people, I don't know if this is true, point to his alcohol and other substances in his life, and he just apparently, I think it stems from some sort of like pressure from being a celebrity and being the Flash, Barry Allen, and all that being pushed onto them. But I think they are. I think for the most part, it's just they are. Just randomly getting themselves into sticky situations in Hawaii, and sort of like ruining their reputation. And you'll find more on that later on. But essentially, it's just them causing altercations in places where they don't need to, and it's just like them taking it to the next level.
Okay. I am still a little vague on that, but so it was like they got into another altercation that was like with someone that he was manipulating. Was it just all random on the street this time?
Apparently, so what his stuff that he did in Hawaii was just, or what they did in Hawaii was just with locals, randomly at a bar. But from my
Okay. Okay.
research about the second thing, is it's like a little bit different. But yeah,
Okay, that still helps. So locals at a bar. All right.
yeah.
So
He's just they're attacking. This is gonna be so hard to do. They are attacking locals throughout Hawaii, essentially, basically.
the flash, he's the reverse flash.
He's little, and that's the joke. And I shouldn't be. We shouldn't be joking about this, but like, I feel like there's a deeper
Oh
issue
shit.
there. But
They are the
yeah,
reverse flash. Um
yeah.
so something you were saying like how they don't realize that it affects their image. That
Yes.
media bubble that these celebrities create is what intrigues me, and this is where I think the wine mom's superior true crime knowledge comes in. Of like, how do you think someone gets to the point that they're just going on these tirades when they're famous and make this much money and they don't feel like it's going to affect them in any way? How do you think they get there, wine mom?
Well, because they've done it a couple times and they've been able to pay their way out of it or hide it or just not even get arrested at all. So they slowly escalate, right? Because a lot of celebrities start with DUIs. And then it
Yeah.
just slowly grows from there to like felony possession, weapons, and it's like I know that sounds like a crazy stretch, but that's literally how pretty much how it goes. It starts with a DUI and then leads into possession.
And
Crazy.
it's also Warner. This is not funny. It's also Warner Bros. Protecting him too, or them too. Uh, it's like uh, people were saying they should have they shouldn't be the Flash anymore because of this behavior, and Warner Bros. Has said no, he's gonna stay the Flash, or they're gonna stay the Flash indefinitely, and then
Well,
it's just it's just I think they're used to having this sort of, as Bailey puts it, a bubble or a
no,
shield
see,
around them.
no, see, I think Warner Bros. Is trying to cover their butts because they know they fucked
Mm-hmm.
up with the whole Johnny Depp thing.
Yeah.
Because they kicked him to the curb immediately. But every single
Hmm.
person after that, they haven't because they realized that they made a harsh, irresponsible decision before getting all the facts.
I think that's a valid opinion there. And I do believe you, Raza. I do support that in some way. They're still protecting their image by there as in Ezra's image by not dropping them. But I think these celebrities live in such a social bubble that they can still do this fuckery and maintain that role. You look into many different of these Hollywood celebrities, and they all got weird stories of someone saw them doing this on the strip, or someone knows that they go to this bar. You know, like Jared. Look at Jared Leto, right? Jared Leto's
Hmm.
got a cult going on himself, and this man's in every other film. So
Yeah.
like, not only I still think what you're saying is valid, but somehow they're still able to get away with it on the day to day thanks to many other things than just the support of those rich people.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I just like it's just in the back of their head. They're like, oh, we don't live by normal people rules, right? We have that. We're able to we're able to work around those lines because we who
oh,
we are and shit.
I
So
think I think that's sorry, go ahead.
I just that's and I think you're feeding into that. How does someone like Ezra, who's not a superstar, how do they get there though? How do they get in that world? You know, wine mom.
What do you mean into the drugs?
Into the well, I guess that comes with it, but I mean into that entitlement, into the I can get away with anything. I'm above the everyday people I'm
It
seeing
could
at
be
Starbucks when I go order my coffee. You know.
Well, that's
from
being
oh,
count. Go ahead,
sorry.
Raza.
No, no, it's okay. Go. You can go.
I think it's just like when they get a taste of like real fame, because this is the thing, is like people, sorry, Raza, take over.
Oh, okay. I think because of his or their personality too. It's like not every celebrity will act this way because it boils it down to who they are as an individual. So like when they are acting this way, I think it comes from who they are down to a personal level as well, because that
Mm.
also plays an influence in how they behave. We can have like people like um, other stars, like say uh, Henry Cavill, who's in the same realm of things, to be perfectly okay because he's not like his personality is like in our eyes to be a little more normal.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree. And I think you see the same thing a lot in communities like comedians who get a lot of direct attention. So their ego base is inflated, or what we're seeing going on with YouTubers, right? The I think it's more than just the parasocial relationship, it's reinforcing the value that they may feel better than the average person for some odd reason.
I I
Yeah. Yeah.
I apologize for that. Um, I was going where you guys were going. I'm so sorry. I was going where you
No,
guys
you're
were
good.
Yeah.
going because I think the thing is, if people get famous too fast, they don't have enough time to adjust. And I think there's a lot of pressure around from people being like, well, you're famous now, so you can do whatever you want now. Like, take advantage
Hmm.
of this moment. Like, come on, like, you can be whoever, do whatever you want now. So I think that's
Yeah.
also a big factor of like, they kind of, the camp around them is responsible for keeping them humble. And if they don't, then, they can just run wild.
Yeah, and like I yeah, that's it. Basically like you've hit the nail on the head, because it's like when you push somebody who has this view on the world super quick into this sort of like system, they're gonna act out because they don't know
Yeah.
their limits. So you have to like
Well,
so they have to surround themselves with people who can be like, yo, ground yourself, B.
right. And I think it also, people who are already, help me out with the word I'm trying to think of, pre
Mhm.
Pre
predisposition.
Yeah, on it.
Okay, so sorry, that made me sound really stupid. But I think it's people that are already predispositioned to fall into those roles and stuff. So it's like when they get that little milestone that gives them that like little push to be that
Yeah.
person, it's like, oh, I so it is okay for me to be this way, and they run with it. Because we all know, like, if you just think about, because this is the way I think about it with celebrities, they're basically high school students that never grow up. So if you think about when we were in high school, if that one kid got to be, the valedictorian, or got to be the president of some ever, whatever, student council, or got to be the head of the football team, all of a sudden, that was the guy who could do whatever they wanted and act however they wanted, and nobody wanted to take any risks because the teachers would
Mm-hmm.
play in their favor to keep them in a good space because it was good for the school to have a healthy representative, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of how I
So
see celebrities.
So are we saying, or are you saying this comes from a place of privilege to a degree? Because
Well,
that
if
There's a
can
bit.
you're
really,
rubbing shoulders with people who own Warner Brothers, I think there's a lot of privilege there.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Sorry,
There's a
Bailey, go
bit
ahead.
of both. Well, because it gets tricky when you bring in the celebrities of the internet era, which are very similar to sports athletes, because, like you're saying, you're getting a lot of people who had no experience. They didn't hustle through any sort of social environment. They just made a few TikToks, and all of a sudden they're up there fucking talking to movie executives, right? So the same
Yeah.
thing
yeah,
as the environment you're talking about. They're given the world, but they may not have the experience to understand it. So
Well,
I
because
think sometimes the
that's
privilege is naive, you know?
100%, that's the big thing. What you're saying right there is a big thing. It's because you have a minute experience of the world, and you're lucky enough to get a luxury experience in that minute experience of the world. that you just go with it, and there's no real. I think because the people around, so like when you think about a celebrity, if you think about like child celebrities, and I'll say with Ezra, is he not very young? Isn't he only like maybe in his 30s?
Wait,
Yeah, he's around my age.
they're
Yeah.
younger than us. I
Yeah.
think. I think they're younger than
So,
Are
us.
they?
Honestly, I
Okay.
think they're in their
okay.
20s.
So this is the thing. When you are that young, companies know how they, because we watch this happen in the music industry all the time. The companies will
Mhm.
put their rights to all of your creative stuff. There's another term that I'm trying to think of to express like your creative property. Anyways, they'll take that and they'll put ownership on it. They'll make it a commodity, and they know that they can make money off you, and they know that they can kick you a small profit that you'll think is $1 billion. You'll think I'm the richest guy
Yeah.
in the world, and
Yeah.
they'll let you be cocky because they're making so much more off the kickback of you that they don't even care.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
thing, like, because to
100%.
lose, because this is the thing we talk about all the time with the superhero stuff. You know how much I hate it because of this. This is exactly why. Because they know that superhero stuff by default will make money. Here's the thing, they could replace him and it would still make the same amount of money, maybe more. But they're like, let's not risk it, let's not mess with it because what fans are like and the way that people are with superhero stuff, let's just kind of let's ride it out. Let's see if he can become that unsung hero. If he can then turn himself around and become a good guy through this role, and like maybe it'll be good for us kind of crap that they do.
'Cause everybody loves a comeback kid. That's the
Well,
thing.
this is it.
I I think they're kind of banking on them to come back, like from all this. So when the next Flash comes out, it'll do crazy well because he is, turned or they have turned their life around.
Right. And I think we also should not underestimate that people love to watch garbage. Like
Yeah.
people love watching things set on fire. Like I don't
Yeah.
know
Oh
why
yeah.
the human race is like that, but we're like, "Oh, this kid is literally spiraling completely out of control. Let's keep him in the limelight as this character because then we're going to get all this personal information and there's going to be a new story and it's just going to be a spiral." The
Yeah.
same thing happened to Shia LaBeouf when he went off the deep end there for a little bit, and then people were still going to his movies. And same with Jay Leto, same with Tom Cruise. You know what I
And I
mean?
think
People like to watch these shit shows happen.
and I think that's an important quality because I think they do want to keep some of that shit around to a degree. I
Yes.
think that's why they play this fickle line, and as Raza was critiquing, that they don't step up because they know
Yes.
that that's more articles, that's more buzz. Oh, Jared Leto sent rats for the fucking Joker. Oh
Yeah.
wow, it's free news
Right.
stories. Let alone
Well,
that's like assault. That's creepy. That's not okay.
Like
this is the thing,
I
because think of it.
but yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying, think of it with like, think of it as like the third wall, right? Because when we watch movies and shit, right? We see things in movies, specifically superhero movies. We're literally watching real life versions of movies, but dramatized, right? And
Yeah.
we know that, like, there are, celebrities in movies that are portrayed as villains. And it's the same thing we like to do in real life. We like to create those stories. So even though they're celebrities and they're shitty people, it's a famous villain. It's fun. And so that's why
Mhm.
it just continues to go on. Not that I agree, but
Yeah.
that's why it's able to continue to go on. I mean, R. Kelly got away with what he got away with for so long. OJ continued to make money. You know what I mean? Like these people, they can continue to behave even with punishment. They can continue to do their stuff. I don't know why OJ thought he could write a book.
Yeah.
Like that is still
Yeah.
beyond me.
What was the name of his book? The O.J. Simpson
If
book.
if I did it,
Yeah, it was.
here's
Yeah,
how I would
yeah,
have done it.
yeah.
Jesus Christ, OJ, how about you just keep on telling on
Legitimately,
yourself?
legitimately, that's what. But this is the thing. He's so untouchable because he's so protected by just everything. It's
And
so.
like it's just like also like I hate saying this, but I do think the conservatives have some sort of like argument here with like Hollywood is kind of covered in creeps and people that protect each other.
Oh,
Not to
it
say that
is.
like conservatives are
I don't
also
know.
part
I
of
think the
that
thing
spectrum.
is, I think you could get a lot of your leftists who are also in Hollywood agreeing that it's just full of people, it's full of what's the nepotism. Hollywood's full
Yeah.
of
Nepotism, yeah.
nepotism. So,
Look, Look
I
at
mean,
yeah.
listen, it sucks because you want to look at the celebrities that you like in a good way, right?
Mhm.
Like I deal with this all the time. Whenever I think about the celebrities that I love, I'm like, any day now, there could be a story that comes out, an accusation, somebody who decided they wanted to either tell the truth or make something. It could happen at any time,
Yeah.
and I have to be prepared to not like that person anymore, or like them and try and separate them, like because that specifically happened to me with Johnny Depp in 2016 when everything
Mhm.
happened. I literally was
Mhm.
like, I love Johnny Depp. I now have to quietly like Johnny Depp and wait out to see what happens with this.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like you can't just openly, regardless of whether you support somebody or not, you can't you because you don't know a celebrity. You can't assume they're perfect.
So
You
you're
know?
telling
It
me Chris
sucks.
Evans is not perfect? That's some
Honey,
bullshit.
listen, I know you love Chris Evans, but every day I see his name, I'm always worried that there's going to be something that's going to break your heart. I'll tell you the truth.
I mean, there already has been, and it's like a little bit more political. But since we're talking about Chris Evans, say happy birthday to Chris Evans, guys. This is his
Happy
birthday
birthday,
today.
Chris Evans.
Ah!
Yeah. Give me a
Woo!
bit. No, but like I 100% agree with you, wine mom. That's why like I don't get invested in celebrities anymore because I know for a fact that we're all human and
Right.
there's gonna be some issues out there. But for some, but I think we did talk about this in a podcast
Hmm.
like several months ago that we're saying how celebrities um, seem to want more and more and more, right? And in their
Yeah.
circle, that's super normal. But for us, it gets weirder and weirder. So at what point do we say, okay, that's I can't
I
defend
mean, but
you
right,
anymore?
and just think of it this way, like this is a very this is I'm only making this reference because of current media. But think about
Yeah.
Elvis Presley. You
Hmm.
cannot tell my grandmother a single bad thing about Elvis Presley.
Oh yeah.
Don't even try it. She is an old lady, but she will bury you. Don't even try it,
Right.
okay?
Right.
Because
Okay.
he served in the military,
Okay.
he did do a lot of good things. But the man married an underage woman and had children with her. And then
Yeah, along
many
with
years
other things too.
later,
Yeah.
right, but then many years later, he now has a movie being made after him where another celebrity gets to become famous off the legacy of somebody who maybe should have been called out for that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
And it's
can.
like we look back at it and we go, "Oh, well that was just the time." It's like, "No, but we still have that going on now. Still happening now."
Yeah, yeah. And it's just like it's a lot more like as you said say that like there's a lot more protection going on. People in that society or
Yeah.
in that status just because they bring a lot of attention to whatever project they are a part of, right?
It's it's like even like cuz you can just name so many people, right? Think about Stanley
Mhm.
Kubrick.
Yes.
Amazing,
Yeah.
genius, an
Mhm.
artist, literally sent a
Mhm.
woman into a complete nervous mental breakdown and a complete spiral because he chose to do method acting and didn't really let her in on the process and
Himself.
almost killed her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I also have to deal with the fact that my all-time favorite celebrity was also a part of the movie that did that to her. You know what I
Oh
mean? Like
shit.
these are the things that you have to think about when
Yeah.
you think about the legacy of these people. It's like we as humans, we have a tendency to be like, look at the talent and genius, let's romanticize. But it's like we have
Mhm.
to also be a little realistic,
Yeah, that a
you
lot of
know?
that old that like the systems of Hollywood were based off of gross men having power trips for the
So gross.
creative process.
Yeah.
So gross.
Right.
Mhm.
So the
Honestly, it's
thing
just like
is people still protecting some of those fucking archaic trends
I'm
because
just
that's how they
I'm just
think
gonna tell
creativity happens.
I'm just gonna tell you, if people really knew the full story of Marilyn Manson, like if y'all really knew like the Hollywood aspect to the story of how he was who he was,
mhm.
you would be shocked
Wait.
because he tried to expose a lot of that Hollywood stuff. I know
Okay, okay,
you're
okay.
thinking like, what are you talking about? Because he wanted to be Jim Morrison, basically. He wanted to be the next famous musician. And so,
Yeah.
without getting too much into true crime stuff, because that's not what we're doing here, the reason why he did what he did is because he was going after a record label executive,
Okay.
but didn't know that
That's
the
right.
house was sold. So this
Right.
is what I mean.
Right.
Like, there's so many layers to, especially old Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Old Hollywood is like a place where New
that's
Hollywood
cool.
tries to like cover up
Hmm.
so much because there's so much shit there that like dates back to like to the 50s and stuff.
Hmm.
And like it has like if somebody uncovered everything, I assume it would like just implicate like not implicate but affect more than half the stars we
Yeah.
we know, like the Barrymores and stuff, uh
Hmm.
the Gyllenhaals, all that stuff are like how are these iconic names, but how did they stay in that position for so long?
Well,
Yeah.
think about all the Family Channel movies and stuff.
Yeah.
All of that stuff that went on there. But we always neglect to remind ourselves about the Disney that went on. To Britney
Yes.
Spears and Jake Gyllenhaal and I believe I
Justin
Justin
Timberlake.
Timberlake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff. So
Anyways, carry
we
on.
just need to, yeah. Yeah. But
It just hurts my
Ezra
feelings.
Miller needs to, I guess, calm down, and how about run back in time to not do those things again?
Well,
Yeah,
nip it before it gets too far and you can't come back and you can't repair it. That's the thing that a lot of celebrities
Yeah.
make the mistake of, just they don't come back in enough time. I mean,
Oh yeah.
not that I want to admit it, but Justin Bieber was able to come back in enough time. You
Yes.
know, he
I
had that
you
completely
need.
agree.
incident.
I agree.
It's a very fickle media dance of, like you're saying,
Very,
of maintaining
very.
relevance and then slowly getting good tokens back in your favor.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Yes.
slowly.
Very. But that's why I say Justin was lucky because he was so young. That people were able
Yeah.
to look past most of it and be like, okay, well, he was a kid who was famous at the age of like 12, for Christ's sake. And so
Well,
you're able to
that's
say that there wasn't enough formative tissue going on, that they've made mistakes, you know? That's how he was able to come back. But that's why I say, do it before you can't use that excuse anymore.
yeah, and I just did my Googles, and it seems like this Ezra here was a human who was also a child actor.
Yeah, well, there you
Surprise,
go.
surprise.
Fuck.
Yeah.
No, yeah, no, and that's we see this with like it's a trend with child actors that unless they're
Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin,
Yeah.
what's the other one? Shia LaBeouf,
Uh-huh.
uh,
Brittany.
This
uh,
is gold.
Brittany, and that's why it's weird. We see
Amanda
child
Bynes.
actors now,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't know how they're gonna be in like the next 10, 20 years because
True.
times have changed and stuff. So I just think that like the cycle isn't gonna end, and it's not gonna unless
Yeah.
something happens. So it's very sad.
Fun, fun.
Very
Next
good.
section, next section. Then we'll come back to get more sad about this, Raza. Are you ready?
Okay.
Bailey already gave me an idea for next week's podcast, so
Oh.
See, that's
maybe
creativity. That's why you
maybe
communicate with your creative partner and tell each other.
Oh
so
boy.
I will take off my pants on stream so Twitch can get so we can get banned,
All right,
and I will
so
live with them.
I don't think this is an Am I the No, it is an Am I the Asshole. It is.
I
So
don't
I,
remember
22,
it.
female, feel like I can't stand my best friend, 25, a female, anymore. And I almost fucking Ron Burgundy the next paragraph. So
I helped you out so much here.
Okay, I'm actually excited about this because I've been thinking about this exact issue a lot lately, so I'm excited.
Let's go, Bailey.
I'll read it at pace. We became friends before the pandemic started and mostly got through it together in the beginning. This was fine because we had our lives on the side, but now it got to the point where we are each other's only friend. We are both dealing with depression, but just in a different way. I prefer to isolate myself, and she wants the company to just talk. I used to suck it up and talk to her for hours every day, even when I didn't feel like it, and I reached a breaking point and I couldn't do it anymore. Because of that, she started calling me unreliable, bad friends, and making everything about myself. I admit to her I forced myself to talk even when I didn't feel like it, and she started calling me fake and like she can't trust me. She said all those mean things to me, and over the years it piled up. She can't control her temper, and I calmly let her know that this was a problem when we picked things up next. These past few weeks, she's done nothing but roast me almost every day. Sounds familiar. Throw a tantrum
Hey.
because I didn't feel like talking and blocked me everywhere. She eventually came back and started telling me how I'm all she has. I was willing to try to be friends again for the sake of old times and how much I used to enjoy talking to her. But when she made a joke today, basically dissing me, I had enough and I exploded on her. I told her that I hated her and can't look at her the same way anymore after all the horrible things she had told me. She wanted to call me so she can hear me say it over the phone, but I told her no and to fuck off. She said just okay and blocked me everywhere for like the 100th time. Now I'm torn whether I should go apologize and not leave on a bad note or just never contact her again. I feel a certain hatred towards her, but I don't want to be a bad person because she's also going through a lot. Am I the asshole? I guess that's not an am I the asshole. I guess that's a new question. But,
Yeah.
Wine Mom, where's your rumination on this?
Why did you make it personal, Bailey? Fuck off.
No, but he's right though, because I literally experienced this not too long ago. So I have one really good girlfriend who I've been friends with for almost 5 years now. We met when we worked at the salon together. Um, she's my best pal, and I complained to her a lot about things and talked to her a lot about things. And we were on the phone one day, and we were having a very intense conversation about a lot of different things because we talk about a lot of personal stuff. Anyways, and I kept getting a ring on the other line. And it was like it would ring through and I would pick up and be like, "Hey, like I'm on the phone, like I'll call you back." To this other girlfriend that I made. And she was texting me. She was like, "I'm freaking out. I need to talk." And this started to become like a routine where I was giving up all of my time to listen to this person complain, and there was never any room for me to express any of my issues. And so I had a period of time where I was like, I can't block her because that's physically not the person that I am. I will never block anybody. Especially maybe on social media I might, but I will never block your phone number. I know I've said that before because I always like to leave a line of communication. And I was like, how do I like tell this person that this friendship has now become a giving ship and not a friendship? You know what I mean? So it's like when you get to the point with a friend where you're like, okay, I feel like I'm doing way too much, and if you're bold enough, because I'm never bold enough to express it, I instead just don't answer my phone the next 3 or 4 times and pretend that I'm very busy. But how do I tell them that I'm overwhelmed, and then if I do, the return is something negative? You know what I mean? So I feel like
Right.
yeah, I feel like she's definitely not an asshole. And I think that if you're in a friendship, because this is the thing, toxicity in relationships can be friendships or intimate partners. And I think that's something that people do not understand. They hold on to a lot of toxic friendships because they feel guilty and responsible for that person. No. Because
kind of
you can love right, because you can love your friends like you would love a partner. And if your relationship with that friend is becoming toxic, the communication has to happen. The you have to talk about it, right? And I think in this
Yeah.
situation, if her friend is unable to have communication with her and instead gets pissed off and blocks her and everything, that's not your friend. It's not worth your time. It's a trauma bond. It's way too toxic. Get yourself the fuck up out of there. Don't even bother contacting her back. If you want to leave a line of communication open for her to come back and talk to you, then that's your right to do so, because I would. But I think at this point, you don't reach out anymore. So you're not the asshole, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, when Bailey told me like, "Oh, Reza, you just snip, snip, snip like a fucking whatever," and I was like, I had to really think about that because, like, yeah, you have to leave a line of communication
Yeah.
for people if you want to both mentally be clear and emotionally be clear. Like, you don't want to have, to me now, just 2022 version of Reza. You don't want to have any bad blood, any
Yes.
any sort of like bad jujus. So like I as like and like yeah, like if this person wants to talk, like this person can talk to their friend, not for their friend, but for their own inner peace. That's what I
Yeah.
think. But do it for yourself. Don't do it
That's
for your friend.
That's where I agree with you. Because that is a thing that my friends would say to me. They're like, "Oh, well, if you're not talking to that person anymore, then like just block them and like remove the access that they have to you." Which like
Hmm.
100% I agree. Take them off your social media where you're posting your personal photos and your little status updates. Take them off your Twitter, your Instagram, remove them from your Discord, your gaming servers, whatever you got to do. Do all of
Hmm.
that stuff. But I think a phone number, you shouldn't. I think leave them unblocked on
Yeah.
your phone number. If they want to reach out to you to apologize, then that's okay. That's fine. And I say
Yeah.
that because
100%.
we've talked about this before. I mean, me and Bailey we have admitted we got into a falling out when we were in high school and we didn't talk. And I
Right.
never cut off the community. I didn't block him or make it so that he was unable to reach me. And eventually in time when he felt ready, we ended up communicating and this is where we are now. And it's like if that person's going to come back into your life regardless of who makes the first move, if they're going to come back and you're going to accept the communication and apologize together and figure it out, then that's fine, right? But I
Yeah.
think for me personally, I would feel too much guilt to completely block someone from me. And
Yeah.
maybe this is admitting too much, but pretty much anyone in my life can still get a hold of me. They just don't know
Hmm.
that. They just
I
don't know
guess
it.
you just outed yourself on
Yeah.
stream. No, like, and that's healthy. That's like way healthier than what again I used to do. Because like even if you cut off people, you have this like negative energy about them. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
this fucking guy fucking me off and whatnot. Fuck him and shit
Yeah.
like that. But then when you actually like talk to them and like just for your own sake, you feel to me you feel significantly lighter,
Mhm.
emotionally clear, and then you're actually thinking, and then maybe who knows, maybe you may not even feel bad about the guy anymore. Maybe like, okay, I fucking
That's a
I
big
I,
one.
I will vibe with you again.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
I forgive almost every and anything. You just need to give me
Hmm.
some time and
Yeah.
approach me with an apology. That's really the only way to get me to like really back off is to come with me with
Yeah.
like and agree to be like we both because I'm always gonna apologize even if I'm not wrong. I'm gonna say,
Hmm.
okay, I'm sorry for
See,
whatever.
okay, I had this massive conundrum up until like 2015. Even though I wasn't be the one getting screwed over, or even though sorry, I was the one be getting screwed over. I would be the first one to apologize, to be
Yeah.
open up, send out the olive branch or blah blah whatever the fuck. But over time, I realized, wait a second, it's just me doing this. I've never been. Nobody has come and be like, oh, sorry, Raza, I'm sorry for being an
I
asshole.
know.
It's just me being like, oh, sorry, man. Sorry, I yelled at you for you being an asshole to me. Sorry
Yeah.
about these things. But like, but then over time, I realized, you know what? If I apologize again, I'm just gonna apologize from me because I know for a fact you don't feel any guilt towards
Yes.
me.
But I feel
So
like you
yeah,
apologizing also sets the table for them to realize like, oh, maybe it's comfortable for me to apologize for my behavior. Like you're breaking down that ego barrier between the two of you by being the first one to apologize even if you didn't do
yeah,
anything wrong.
hundred
Sorry, I
percent,
can
100%.
let's let Bailey say a word because I can tell he
No,
would like to.
I know. I'm just sitting. I was trying to think.
Anyways,
I'm actually a little stuck on this one because you guys
Mhm.
kind of played the two dichotomies well. I find myself as a middle ground between the two. I try never to hold grudges and leave that communication line open, but also it's like, yeah, if you're fed up and you communicated it, then like you have every right to fade away. You did your part. You
Yeah.
told her
Yeah.
what was up. You were fair about it. You gave the opportunity for the repairs. You're not being vengeful. You also don't have to take the extra step like Raza's saying. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a healthy
It,
decision to make. It's all kind of about how you choose to navigate it, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
I think ultimately it comes down to what you deem important with communication. Because like my boss made a comment today because somebody said something about we have a client that's married and he always says, "Oh, my wife said this, my wife said that." And it's like clearly those two don't communicate at all because the wife didn't say that and I don't think you even know what you're talking about. And so
Mhm.
my boss said he was like, "Well, of course they don't communicate, they're married." And I was like, you got me fucked up if you think that there's going to be listen, you don't want to say anything, you're sure as hell going to hear me. You are sure as hell
Yeah.
going to hear me because I'm going to
Yeah.
communicate. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize you have to set that in a relationship. You have to show like I'm giving this level of communication, you need to meet me. Because even with my own mother, we communicated pretty well, but I think our communication since I've gotten older, I've had therapy, I've changed the way that I process life and things. Now we communicate so much better. Because I set the precedence of like this is what I'm comfortable communicating, so let's have that communication, right? It's important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And
Yeah.
yeah, and like this project that has actually made me like Martian Madness has actually taught me how to communicate. No, and
Mhm.
this is not a dig at anybody, but this is not a dig. I'm just saying it as me. Like it's actually taught me how to like be upfront with things I want because I'm
Yeah.
always like, oh, I don't know, man.
Because you're
I'm
shy.
I'm a shy pussy ass bitch, but like when when it comes up like okay now I can actually talk about the thing and people listen to me so and then like, at the same time this woman if she's gonna go back into the sea of finding friends again she should
Yeah. Good luck to
find
her.
yeah good luck to her and just find people who have some of your mindset. Don't get somebody who you're because like I have made friends during the pandemic. Are we still friends? Absolutely not because it was for necessity.
Miserating. Yeah.
Yeah, it was for because like no, I'm kidding. Like I'm still friends with people, but like if it's for necessity, if you're already saying oh we only did it because of such and such, then you're already telling yourself that like there's nothing there.
Yeah.
There's no friendship there. Like
Exactly.
at least for this, us three, like we definitely talk. Be like, if this was not here, it would still be us, and we'll work on it.
Yeah.
So like, I think if the biggest thing I took away from that was like it's the necessity of having a friend during the pandemic, and that
Yeah.
just which is get a dog. Jesus Christ.
Well, anyways, I feel bad for her. I feel for her because it's
Same
hard
here.
when you want to try and have a little commiserating and sometimes it doesn't work in your favor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Bailey.
World sucks. So, next sad story, kids. Time to get more sad. We're going back to
Right.
the Ezra Miller thing. So, before we were getting on to the show, I was doing some of the behind the scenes chats with Wide Mom about the situation with the supposed kidnapping of a underage teenager by Ezra Miller,
Yes.
which has been
Yes.
making the big rounds because the
Mm.
family has been very loud. This human in question is
Mhm.
called Sarah Jumping Eagle. So it is the Jumping Eagle family, and they are of
Mhm.
Lakota tribe. So
Yes.
Ezra Miller here has supposedly been grooming her through a fan club of one of the films that he was in, if I'm correct. And then
Uh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
stayed in contact over the years, hence the grooming aspect. As they matured, then they turned 18 and dropped out of high school and went and moved in with this human, with Ezra here.
Oh,
The
she's
family
okay.
have had to she might not be 18. I could be incorrect, honestly.
I
I
think she's
presume
still
that.
underage. I think.
That's just as terrifying.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just as, oh my god.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
still underage, left high
Bailey's getting his
school.
mind blown in real time.
In real time.
Yeah.
Moved in with him, and the parents had to go moved in with them, and the parents had to go pick up the daughter while they were in a very drugged induced state of many different varieties. They claim it was LSD and this and that, but that was the admitted. They said in the article that they can't prove that aspect of it. Now,
It's all allegedly, yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, this has definitively been happening. The relationship can be proved. Now, obviously, the nature of it, this is where the court case gets fuzzy and blah, blah, blah. The world and politics suck. But clearly, no matter what, this Ezra here is sitting here and grooming this person, right? So
Yes.
Yeah.
even though Miller has been called out publicly for this repeatedly, he's possibly brainwashed her. Could this be described like a cult situation?
That's what apparently where the shit's been going to. I don't know if it's directly a cult, but like it does feel like he's been like indoctrinated this other human into, or they have indoctrinated this other human into a very sketchy situation, and it does the fingers do point to like a compound type thing in like California. That's what I.
The
Damn.
thing is, like, sorry, go ahead, Bailey.
No, I was just saying, damn. I was adding punctuation.
Yeah,
Oh.
so the thing is, like, with grooming, I think we think of the lines as blurry. We think of them blurry as in, like, not in our favor, but they're blurry more so in our favor, if that makes sense. So, like, he can still get in a lot of trouble, just even if he uses specific phrases. So, like,
Okay.
he doesn't even have to say, he doesn't even have to really be like, oh, we're going to be in a relationship when you are an adult. He just has to say, well, maybe we can wait. Maybe we just be friends. Like, there's,
Yep.
nowadays, they're a lot harder on you when it comes to minor safety because of how the internet works. The only thing that may be working in his favor is that it is through a fan club, and I'm going to make the assumption that majority of it was done online. So he probably
Yeah.
does have plausible deniability, because how do you know that it's even him running the fan club or him doing the information? Which then gets into the need of a very in-depth, I can't remember what the terminology is, but it's some sort of like computer analysis guy, that like a forensic analysis of a computer. So they'd have to go back and they'd have to track like certain footprints, numbers, IDs,
Visual
locations, devices. Yeah. Whereas before they used to be able to do it through texting style, but now they look for a lot more forensic stuff because that's more solid. We actually seen a lot of that in the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case,
Yep.
when she
Yeah.
tried to do the whole thing with the tweets, and the guy went back and forensically analyzed it and was like, actually no. But yeah,
It's
this is
just
a
like
very messy situation.
it's yeah, and like he's doing it like he's like making it worse because like first of all, people know who he is. He's a big Hollywood star in one of the biggest franchises rolling right now, and he's going to be in one of
Well,
the biggest movies next year. And he's like he's himself putting wanted posters everywhere himself just by doing
right.
all this
Well, and it's not
kind
a
of stuff.
secret. It's not a secret that this person, this girl, is part of a native community. And it's
Yes.
like, how low do you have to be to choose a community that is already way more susceptible to these things because of the lack of police care and attention. You know what I mean? So it's like you're only making it's just even getting significantly worse because now you're picking a marginalized community that's not cared about and you're encroaching in it. And it sucks because her family is being very loud and I had no idea about this until now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
was astounded when I read it. They've been doing a whole bunch of press interviews. There was I saw an interview with them with Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk. I was like, yo, that's some like you got an actual other celebrity with you there. I'm
Right.
surprised this didn't make the
and
rounds.
Shailene Woodley too. So like this person is getting is I think this person is connected to like Hollywood in a way
Well,
as well.
well
I feel.
we have basically this going on in Canada right now with Jacob Hogarth, where he did basically the same thing, but he got in trouble because this is the thing that's so messed up. He didn't really get in trouble for the minor. I don't know how that's plausible, but but I'm sure you're going to fact check it right now, Bailey, because I see you typing. From what I remember, he didn't really get in trouble for the minor, but he got in trouble for the overage person, which he had worked up from a minor into when they were overage. That was the one that really got him in trouble. But it's like
Okay.
this is like a culture thing that like goes on with these men, and I don't understand the groom aspect. Like I don't get it. It
I
makes no sense to
I
me. Like why do you want to wait? What do you want to why? Go do something
it's
else.
it's like I think we discussed this like on that one podcast that like d- it's it's that need to want that when you're at that level you feel like you can get anything you want, so they want
I
that,
mean,
right? So it just makes for us it's weird. I get it.
I know.
It's weird for us, but for them it's like a
Yeah.
normal thing.
Yeah, like I know I'm sitting here saying like why, but I know that it's because they want to completely mold that person into how they want them to be so that they can live the life that they want with that
Yes.
person just being what they need them to be, which
Yes.
is when a lot of abuse cycles start. And it makes me very nervous hearing the thing about the drugs because we watched this happen to Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown. Once he got into her life, he said, "Oh, I'm now going to drug you up, get you on substances that you can't control, and then I'm going to take over your finances, your life, everything, and ruin your career while still profiting from you,
Yep.
and then put my own daughter in jeopardy because of my behavior." That's scary.
Yeah, and like and it's the signs that are there already
Yeah.
too, and nobody wants to do anything about it. So
Yeah, he needs to be but I mean, I read some articles too after Bailey brought it up and the police are having a really hard time finding and serving him.
yeah,
So, they
yeah,
need to
yeah.
sooner than later. At least we know that they're in attempts to do so. That's good.
Yeah, but I think he has Warner Bros. Money, and even if or this shit,
That's the thing.
they
It's
have
local.
Warner Bros. Money.
It's all local cops. Yeah, they got Warner Bros. Money. They
Yeah,
can be filming
yeah,
wherever. They don't have to film in L.A. They probably already don't film in L.A. And that's where a lot of the warrants are. I guess Hawaii as well, evidently. But
yeah.
Yeah, but
can't get
he has to hit a press conference at some point. He
exactly. He's
has to
gonna
do
end
an
up at a
interview
Comic
at
Con or
some
some
point.
shit.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
happen. It's just gonna
His
take some
his his
time.
his lawyers are probably talking to him right now. We're like, "Yo, B, they're
Hmm.
shit. They're B. You gotta you gotta calm down and speak to the press about this because you're gonna be out of a job soon, or
There's no
not."
way. It will end up like Drake Bell. That's why they don't want him to go in front of the media. We'll have another Drake Bell on our hands.
God.
Well, that's a whole nother thing. The fact that that guy was able to transition his career into a Spanish career and hide for an additional however many years is disgusting.
That was it's gnarly, but it's also fucking hilarious that he needed to pivot toward a different
Yeah.
ethnicity just
And then
to
pretended he didn't
just to
do it
make
after. Did you see that he
Yeah.
pretended that didn't happen after? He's like,
Yeah.
no,
yeah,
I didn't change my
yeah.
name. It's like, what?
I was like,
What?
what? We
Well,
see this shit. You're on
but this is
Twitter
the
right
thing.
now, man.
This is the thing though, because it sucks to say, but he was smart because he knew where his demographic, like his bigger
Yeah.
fan base was. and
Yeah.
then just migrated over and rebranded himself. It was
Yes.
smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that I agree with it, but
Well, and that's so I was debating. I was looking at Ezra Miller's IMDb, and then I realized that they're the perks of being a wallflower kid,
yes,
right?
Yes. Yes.
yes.
So
That's
it's
how
like,
they're
and
getting
I
huge
was
too.
I was reading this article about the Sarah jumping eagle thing, and it's like, so not only were they getting this special treatment through their whole celebrity life, they were probably hearing, "Oh, you're in such a deep movie. You created arts. You're an artist. This is cinema.
Yeah.
You're so smart. You know what you're
He
doing."
wasn't even really a pivotal role in that movie anyway.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and they probably floated off of that credit in terms of not just like their ego of like, "Oh, I am better than everyone," and
Yeah.
that's
Oh, and
a terrifying
that's
thing.
the other that's the other thing, Bailey. You just hit a. I completely forgot about this, but there have been complaints against Ezra Miller and a bunch of his movies that like he's kind of arrogant, or they're kind of arrogant and egotistical, for some
Okay.
reason. Uh, so like it kind of hits, yeah, like it does make sense. It's like, oh, he's using that credit to get
I'm
this.
curious, Bailey, what college did he go to?
What
Because this is
college?
what I this is yeah, because this is what I mean by predisposition to be that way. Because if he went to like an Ivy League art school or something like that,
Well, I
he
think the
was
thing
gonna
is
be
they were
that
a
way.
child actor. They were a child actor, but so they went to the Hudson School, which is like a famous private school in
So there
Hoboken.
you go. There's your answer. So
And
he's had
like,
it,
yeah,
they have had their
yeah.
ass licked their whole life. So
Yes, and like what the part that kind of bums me out is like Ezra Miller and how do you ever say his last name?
Small A.
Smollett are doing nothing but damaging the image of another minority group too, the one that they are
Yeah.
from. The Yeah, so just like people, there's already a huge
oh
argument going on
no, I didn't even
in
fucking think about that you just said
Yeah.
there. Because
Yeah.
of the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah.
yeah, and like there's this whole argument going on in the south of America, in the southern states about how they're going to
Mm.
be, how they're associating that community with the G
Yeah.
word that am not going to say because I'm don't get in trouble on Twitch. But it's and then he's actually, or they're actually, and like confirming that narrative.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it just,
The
guys,
the 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 and even
my
down to
brain.
the they got
Yeah.
the Sarah jumping eagle article. The mother of the situation worded it well with the indigenous two spirits stuff. But Lord knows all those quotes are not going to be used. Whenever someone references a
God,
certain quote, it's
no.
going to be about
No.
how they used their pronouns as an excuse without
Well,
any of
just
the other contextual information that the mother
Yeah,
provided.
right. Because
exactly.
even
Yeah.
just with all of the stuff with the sports teams that have been going on right now, with
Yeah.
transgender athletes and stuff like
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
they're just adding
Like
fuel to the fire.
it
Ugh.
just like, and like again, there's this I'm gonna around this back to our initial point of
Yeah.
what Bailey said. Is just like they live in a bubble. So Ezra Miller, we see this damage they're doing evidently, but Ezra Miller is, I'm the Flash. I go fast. Zoom zoom.
You
Running
Right.
know,
away
So
from all their problems.
yeah, a
there's
good metaphor.
also
But yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's also this small part of me though, like you guys know I'm totally LGBTQ plus support, do what you want, be
Mhm.
who you want, right? But I feel like when it comes to certain celebrities, like you it's just like the labels are changing all the time and it feels very much like trying to get attention or trying to get support from certain marginalized groups to create like a following around them, and it's like then a
Yeah.
situation like this happens and it just pollutes the world even
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I remember seeing, sorry, but I remember seeing at Comic-Con when Ezra Miller was there, and all like the kids who are like were like either transit like thinking about transitioning or like have transitioned and everything. They looked at Ezra Miller as like you
Yeah.
make us you like that like if it wasn't
Oh,
for you we wouldn't be able to do what or be happy with who we are. You actually have given us a voice and like he actually sorry they
oh,
actually did a lot of cool stuff for that community at
Yeah.
Comic-Con. They would I want to this is so hard to do, but they would do so much. They would be like, "Oh, I love it seeing kids dressed up as a Flash, and I also love them being who they are and stuff." And I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
dude, dude,
yeah. That's
you've done so much goodwill, and then in the matter of less than like what a month or two, you've taken it all away because you're what's going on?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Selfish.
Yeah.
That's and that's I
You don't
didn't you
even.
bring that up. That's important. It's like such a spit in the face with the ego thing, right? Because they sit there, and then you have
Because they can
Ezra
comfortably
Miller,
identify as that,
and
Bailey. They don't have to deal with the
yeah,
same repercussions as somebody else.
and they don't
Yeah.
realize the weight
Basically.
that it's bringing onto the people that they thought they were seeking support from.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gross. That's
It's
gross.
just like
It's the worst part about it,
I
probably.
can just because I have well I haven't been called out on it yet, but like Ezra Miller is kind of like taking he's like he is sorry they are enabling the stereotype essentially
Yes.
that this is how the people in the community behave and look we were right about that G word. Look, this one
Yeah.
case about this big actor. Yep, look. So it just yeah I just
Well,
Yeah,
this is what I've
yeah.
told you guys before. Like, stereotypes exist for a reason because it's the loud minority that create these problems, and that's why the stereotypes happen.
yeah yeah um yeah it just and like at the same time they're also not just their own goodwill but the goodwill that the community has done for itself.
Yeah.
That's what he's they're taking back. So it's
Yeah,
just
so it's
like
like
Well,
yeah
taking tokens, taking tokens, taking tokens, and then never giving back to
yeah
the pool.
and
and like
then I yeah
using that
yeah
label as like a shield to be like, this is
Yeah.
why
hmm
I am this way. This is what I'm going through because I don't I have trouble self-identifying.
that was the thing it's the thing I'm scared about the most.
Yeah.
If Ezra Miller comes into the public eye in like near future, I believe they're going to use that excuse
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
they're not going to be upfront about it, but they're going to be subtle about it. They're going to be like, oh, it's because it's who I am. This
Yeah.
is the way I think. We're like, no, bro, that ain't it, Chief. No.
Yeah.
Humans suck, Raza. What a topic to pick today. Shit.
I thought it was
Indeed.
going to be fun, lighthearted, but I don't know. Now that I
You
think
know
about
Right.
it,
us, it's gonna get deep and meta.
yeah. Next
Oh.
next
Whew.
podcast we'll talk about trend and somehow it'll come back to somebody getting like demoralized by
Oh
it.
God.
Okay, so then what we're going to do to close it off, you want to make it a little lighthearted. Where do you think that Ezra is going to get caught and or served? What do you think will be the situation?
Hopefully, definitely
Opening
at
night.
a yeah, I was gonna say definitely
Yeah.
at one of the movie premieres.
Yeah, opening night.
One of the ones he thinks he's safe to go to.
It's gonna be the Flash then. Because that's
Probably
the
in
only
a
movie.
but
Yeah.
probably in another country though. It'll be somewhere
Yeah.
stupid.
I don't
Yeah.
think you can get served in another country. I
I
gotta
think you
Google
Yes, you
this. You
can.
made
can.
me curious. You
Yes,
I
you
think you
can?
can.
can.
You can, yeah. I've
Wow.
seen that
Okay,
shit,
I like
yeah.
this bet. I like this bet more. This got more interesting.
It's only private citizens, I believe, that can be served in different countries, though. I don't know if it's like a if it's
So it'll be somewhere wacky. I think London. I'm gonna vote London.
I feel like Mexico. I don't know why that's in
or
my head.
Mexico, anywhere south. Anywhere
Yeah.
south. That's so bad for me to
Like
say, but anywhere
Mexico or
south.
Cuba or something where you think
Yeah.
it'd be easier to hide out.
Brazil
Supposedly
and shit
they're
like
in Europe a lot traveling
Yeah,
Europe.
I mean Europe is possible.
I mean, white people are nuts there, so.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah,
So
I,
really.
I hear there's a lot of white
So
people parties over there.
is there a tweet of the week?
Yeah, Roza's got a
No,
tweet of the week. I don't
no, I
know.
don't.
No
No, I
tweet of the
don't. No, I'm
week.
kidding. Go. No, no, go.
Don't break my heart like that. I actually got upset for a second.
He's got a tweet of the
I
week, but
love.
he has to explain this joke. I know it's not offensive, but I still don't get the joke. So
Okay.
Okay.
he's got the tweet up on the board, and it says, "There's nothing in the Bible about transgender. It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Emma." I don't get the punchline.
So she could have said Laura. Okay, so she could have said Adam and Steve, because
Oh,
Adam
so
and
she
Emma.
chose.
Oh,
I got
It's
because
you.
just
she was being bigoted and she blew it. Okay.
yeah. Because Adam and Emma still means it's still a straight relationship
Okay, that
without
makes it funnier.
yeah. See, and this woman, Laura Boebert, she's a Congress lady for Colorado.
Oh, God. That's worse.
She's she's dude. She's pro 2A. She's pro her fucking like she's like
Then why does she
go
have
on.
this? That's gross. Gross.
Oh, she's like pushing this. She's part of that whole thing that's trying to push a G word towards it, and she's been attacking Ezra Miller, I think. But
Boo.
she but her after pod, I'll get her. I'll say it now. Her husband was charged with exposing himself.
Oh, I heard this. I've seen this.
Oh, okay. No, I know who this is then. I forgot the name. I
Yeah,
know who you're talking about then, yeah.
yeah.
Goodness
But
gracious.
she's crazy, and like the only reason why she won because I'm pretty sure she ran unopposed. Uh, and if you
Oh,
see all
God.
of her pictures, she she makes a joke that she personally identifies as blah blah, but like she clearly identifies as a gun, because clearly everything her entire personality is an AR-45 and
Just
shit.
No.
just firing off rounds. Just letting them rip.
Oh yeah,
That's
A
exactly.
nightmare.
all right. So
It's
everyone
so annoying.
go hate on Lo and Bobert on Twitter. Go.
And her eyebrow game, like I'm not the one to make fun of women's appearances because that's
Yeah.
beneath me.
Be
But
careful.
her eyebrow game is fucking atrocious. If you see her eyebrows, they're like dots on her head. It's all the
Great.
hate, all the hate that makes that all the hair all
The
over
hate
her
just makes
face.
the eyebrows fall out over time.
Thank you,
Will
Lord.
fall out, yeah. But she's the dumbest, one of the dumbest motherfuckers
Clearly.
in
Damn.
in Congress.
Yeah.
Hate-filled
Sorry,
tweet.
guys.
Hate-filled tweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
guys.
That's our activism hour for the week.
This is Roz's Twitter coming out. He's gonna go back
Okay.
into the cave now.
I'm gonna go find my bridge. It's right over here. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's P.O. Box Troll Avenue.
Okay, so wine mom, give
Yes.
them the news, give them the gist. What can they do?
If you're watching this after, like, pre-recorded, then that sucks for you because afterwards we're live. And that's when me and Raza gang up on Bailey and there is no rules. So you're missing out on that.
It's just full unadulterated XX.
Chaos.
It's just
And download on
it's just
Spotify.
Yeah,
And
go and get us on Spotify, sub to Patreon, come to Discord, hang out, talk shit. It's fun. We like to do that. Thank you.
gang.
Gang,
dang,
gang.
dang.
See you later, kids. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back. We're gonna chat with you in a second. We're gonna bye. We'll be right back. Outro on.
Thank you again for watching us badly talk about these topics.
You can follow us on Twitch, Marching Into Madness, all one word, no space. On the gram, marching_into_madness, and on Patreon at patreon.com/marchingintomadness. And again on Le Discord at Marching Into Madness.
Join us, and Bailey will pay you 10 whole Canadian dollars.
You can follow Whitey over at gnarly_media on the Insta. You must definitely follow the life of our whole podcast, Wine Mom, at X Wine Mom X, because the year's 2002, and we still have the X in our names. And me, your favorite brown boy, at _r Malik _.
Thank you for the third time. We love you. Drink some milk and be healthy.
Remember, kids, say no to school and yes to
It's like such bad advice. It's like here we put this well-formulated podcast together with good insight on facts and truth and political points and social issues. Don't go to school, dude.
Oh, God.
Bailey listens to
Motherfucker
me.
shouldn't be near school after saying that.
It's like Bailey listens to me say the sentence and he goes, maybe I should say my sentence now.